Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion. Da 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 dan dan da dan da 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 dan. Okay, today we'll just be summarizing Act 5 of Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion. So let's get this started with. Alright, now Bernard Shaw wrote Pygmalion in this last section like this. Here we have our Eliza. Now our Eliza is still here, happy and everything like that. And she goes ahead and goes to stay with Mrs. Higgins, aka Higgins' mother, obviously. She goes ahead and lets her in, lets her seek refuge, and listens to everything that she had to say, and such and such and such and such. Realizing that her son just decided to just be himself for a little bit too long, and that she broke, obviously. He didn't obviously consider that she had feelings, thinking that she was just something like a statue that he was molding and shaping, like an actual Pygmalion. And so, for the meantime, she is staying upstairs in Mrs. Higgins' upstairs bedroom. Now, at this point, obviously, Higgins goes ahead and comes in, and he is about to call the police. So, we're notified that via a servant who goes ahead and tells Mrs. Higgins that Higgins and Pickering have come in and have started to call the police. Obviously, this alarms her a little bit and asks him to come in after they didn't finish calling the police, obviously. Pickering and Higgins goes ahead and comes in, and they all go ahead and start talking about where the heck Eliza was. That she had just left the night before, and that they were just doing their own stuff. That they didn't really say anything, and that they only said good stuff about her. Obviously, she goes ahead and Mrs. Higgins goes ahead and gets reprimands them for all of the things that they said, saying that they probably didn't realize that they were saying things that were hurting her feelings and such and such. But they're like, nonsense, lady, we're talking about stuff that makes her a lady. Something about that, and probably not in that accent either. Most likely not in that accent. But they go ahead and keep denying that they've said anything wrong that could have went ahead and hurt her feelings. Oh, well, Pickering probably didn't really do that, but then, Higgins certainly did. Now, Mrs. Higgins obviously finds it quite hard to believe, knowing her son, that saying things without him knowing that he said it was his literal saying. Or maybe he was just always pretending that he never knew he said stuff. At this point, they go ahead and start talking about everything and all the things that they have been talking about, and Mrs. Higgins reveals that she is actually upstairs. Let me just draw them a little bit bigger, because, I hate going ahead and seeing all this. So, while they're all here, they go ahead and start complaining about everything, when then they go ahead and realize that Mr. Higgins is asking his way into the house. Now, Mr. Higgins is all man-like, obviously, and they think that he is still the crazy old hobo that he was previously. And so they go ahead and let him in, and when they let him in, what they find is a posh gentleman. He's all like, "Good day, mate. So I'm Mr. Higgins." And they're like, "What the heck happened to you, man? You're a gentleman now." "Yeah, about that, I have something to complain to you, Mr. Higgins. A few months ago, apparently you went ahead and wrote a letter about how my accent is incredible, and that I will be able to go ahead and do some teaching if I could ever do it. Now, I guess that you meant it as a joke, but he did not realize it was a joke, and when the millionaire died, he left it in his will that I will be given a salary as long as I will be lecturing at a certain university." And the Higgins is all like, "Yeah, I did say that. I remember saying that, but yeah, as you said, it was a joke. No, it's not the lecturing I mind, but I have to be a gentleman now. I'm too well off. I have to wear stuff. I have to go ahead and stop doing stuff. I cannot act like my older self at all. What the hell am I supposed to do? Damn you, Higgins." But then he goes ahead and starts talking about everything and things, and it starts to feel like it's a benefit towards him. Now Higgins goes ahead and decides to orders him to go to the balcony so that they could talk with Eliza a little bit, and not shock her with the news that her father could now afford to take care of her. And then Higgins obviously goes ahead and starts complaining about stuff, also mentioning the fact that he wants Eliza back. Higgins himself refusing to do so because he was technically paid £5 a few months ago, 6 months ago, for Eliza. So first of all, he goes back to the area, to the balcony area, which is off screen, and then Eliza finally comes down, goes ahead and explains the situation, and tells everyone that nobody treated her poorly. In fact, they treated her very well. But the fact was that that conversation that they went ahead and talked about was terrible, and it hurt her feelings a lot. And Pickering was obviously not very very shocked about this, saying that he didn't mean anything that he wanted to say like that, and that he wanted to be forgiven by her, which she proceeds to do, also thanking him a lot to go ahead and teaching her the manners, which he unintentionally did, as it was not a part of the lessons. He went ahead and obligingly, gratefully let her in on that, and then Higgins is all like, "How dare you try to leave me?" and stuff like that. Eventually, calming down enough. And then Mr. Higgins comes into the room, and well, obviously, Eliza, as being Eliza, is very, very shocked to go ahead and see her father so well off. And she goes ahead and starts crying into arms with him. And later, of course, she goes ahead and just runs away and all like that. Something I forgot to mention about Act 4 was that she ran away. And then when she went out, she met Freddy. You know, the boy who was trying to find a taxi in Act 1. And the one who tried to offer to walk her home in like Act 3, and they go ahead and get infatuated with each other and start lovemaking when policemen start going ahead and try to break them off. Eventually, they just run away together, and then she goes to Mrs. Higgins. And basically, they are essentially unofficially engaged to each other. And now that that's done, she goes ahead and runs off into this new world of the epilogue. I will not make a summary of the epilogue, unfortunately, but what I will say, I will talk about it a little bit right now. So what happens in the epilogue is that everyone is a little bit more well off. Eliza went ahead and decided to go marry, and well, when she was told that she could marry Higgins, she was like flat out refused that. Let me draw that a little bit better. She flat out refused that, obviously, and then she just kept going on and on and on. What changed next, though, was the fact that she would marry someone that she was an OG with, and that was Freddie. She married Freddie, and then she opened her own little flower shop, where it became a very, very successful, and that was about it. That's pretty much what the epilogue happened. What happens to Higgins and Pickering's, I will probably not know. Eventually, it just talks about Eliza. The Pickering and Higgins go ahead and go to a hotel, start talking to each other about stuff again, start doing businesses. Eliza is still in contact with them sometimes, but she has to thank them for letting her talk and act like a lady, stuff like that. And now, with that, our Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion has ended. I will see you guys soon in the full book summary video. See ya!